Quaid Azam, Part 388. Surjit Man Singh summarizes the political circumstances and provisions of the Lucknow Pact, a scheme of the constitutional reforms towards self-government presented jointly by the Indian National Congress, negotiated by venerated Bal Gandhar Tilak and the All India Muslim League led by the dynamic Muhammad Ali Jinnah. Both parties had put forward demands for self-government during their concurrent sessions in Bombay 1915 and set up committees to draft concrete proposals. Congress leaders sought unity, without which they could hardly advance their goals. Tilak, like Gandhi in 1946 and the earlier Lajpat Rai, wanted the British to leave as soon as possible and was sufficiently pragmatic by then to accommodate the demands of the Muslim League for the sake of the larger cause. Jinnah too was anxious to bring the fledgling Muslim League and the experienced Congress together. Accordingly, the League pledged full support for Congress claims, for Congress aims of self-government and parliamentary system for India, which meant executive responsibility to an elected legislature. Congress accepted the League's demand for weighted representation and separate electorates for Muslims. Lloyd and Suzanne continuing add the Lucknow Pact and a kind of constitution for India, recognize two nations and one state, what might be called a multinational state that encompasses the multiple sovereignties and implicitly a dynamic bargaining relationship among them. Was Jinnah's subsequent bargaining strategy an attempt to maintain the goal of independence from the British rule? But with this independence vested in a multinational Indian state capable of sharing sovereignty, it is these terms and conditions for sharing that were negotiated and renegotiated between 1916 and 1947. In a triangular bargaining among the British Raj and the Congress with the Muslim League, Jinnah at the time of the Nehru Report 1928 tried for a third of the seats in central legislature and may have been willing to settle for a quarter of them if only he could get two more Muslim majority provinces, Sindh and Balochistan. During the endgame of 1946, the cabinet mission plan, he accepted the multi-layered federal scheme, which included the Congress-ruled NWFP group with Punjab in Part A and Assam group with Bengal in Part B, both of which Nehru could swallow, and in an interim government with 6 Congress, 6 ML and 1 depressed class ministers. Jinnah's position becomes clearer as the end of the 1940 draws near. In negotiating the Lucknow Pact and his subsequent positions in recognizing and legitimizing the two-nation theory, but not Lloyd Rudolph asserts necessarily recognizing Muslim as a separate nation state. It is more, he writes, in the context of recognizing and legitimizing a multinational or pluralistic state or type of a state that stands in marked contrast with the nation state. A state form taken to be the end point of the teleology of the modern state. He continues reasoning that a multinational state shares sovereignty among a variety of actors. India's federal system, particularly its linguistic states, is a manifestation of multinational state that shares and bargains about sovereignty. Similarly, reservations for SCs, STs, or even for OBCs, as well as 73rd Amendment's creation of a third tier of a local government, Panchayati Raj, and all manifestations of sharing and bargaining about the sovereignty in the multinational state.